The Strangers, directed by Brian Bertino, is a tense and minimalist horror film that explores the terror of random senseless violence. It's set in an isolated vacation home, and the movie is an unsettling study in psychological horror. It focuses on a young couple who are menaced by a trio of masked assailants, and the film's effectiveness comes from its chilling atmosphere, deliberate pacing, and the idea that the horror is unprovoked, making it even more terrifying. And I absolutely love this movie. I don't really like the new one, I think it's a pile of garbage, but this one's pretty cool, and it's even got some good kills when it gets to them eventually, so let's get into the video. The film begins with a chilling voiceover describing how violent crimes happen everywhere and often without reason. It then cuts to a 911 call reporting a murder at a secluded house, and flashbacks begin and our movie's story unfolds. Kristen and her boyfriend James, also known as Jamie, are a couple in their early 30s, and they arrive at James' family vacation home late at night after attending a wedding reception. The atmosphere between them is tense, with the audience learning that James had proposed to Kristen earlier in the evening, but she rejected him. Kinda mean. Don't get me wrong, maybe it was like the wrong place to do it. Why would you propose to someone at another person's wedding? That kind of takes away their moment, if you catch what I mean. But yeah, so it's just causing a little strain in their relationship. So James, he's a nice guy. He prepared a nice romantic evening for them. He decorated the rose petal bed. He was down to get freaky later. There's champagne. So instead they just sit there and eat ice cream. However, after her refusal, it's just a bit awkward, and they try to just, process their feelings, and they're probably exhausted from just having to stand at a wedding all the bloody day, but still. Oh well. After the uncomfortable discussion, James calls his mate Mike to come pick him up in the morning, since he intends to leave early as he feels that things with Kristen are a bit too, tense for them at the moment. As James and Kristen attempt to navigate their emotions together, there is a loud knock at the door at 4 in the morning. Now, if someone knocked at my door at 4 in the bloody morning, here's what I'd say to them. Piss off. That's a simple solution. You either tell them to piss off, or this is America. You guys got guns, if you catch my drift, fire a warning shot, just, piss off, will ya? But, yeah, so they instead open the door, and a young woman with her face obscured by the shadows on the porch asks, "Is Tamara home?" Now, here's what I'm, a little confused about. Imagine if, someone in these movies is called Tamara, and then they just go, "Yeah, I am, my name is Tamara, nice to meet you. What do you need?" And then just well, we can't kill you now, so here, you win a prize. They give them, $10, and then they piss off. Oh, I think that would be great. But anyway, both of them are really confused, and they're just "You got the wrong house, please leave, it's 4 in the morning, we're about to go to bed, sure. The rose petals aren't going to mean anything now, but we're just going to go to sleep, So they find it kind of weird, but they just brush it off. They're well, she probably had the wrong house. Shortly after, James leaves the house to go get some fresh air and drive to a local store to buy some ciggies for Kristen, so he leaves her alone. She tries to relax, she lights a fire, and she sits down, but soon begins hearing strange noises outside. Uneasy, she notices that the porch light, which had been on earlier, is now off, and when she looks around the house, she senses that someone's probably around. She also finds that her phone lead is now cut, and it's probably not going to work now. As she becomes more anxious, the same woman knocks on the door and asks, "Is Tamara home?" She's more confused and frightened. She doesn't open the door this time, so they just sort of keep knocking on the door. So it's pretty obvious that someone's lurking outside. Soon, it escalates. As she moves through the house, the first of the masked intruders enters. So he's a tall man wearing a sack-like mask with eye holes, known as the man in the mask. I like to call him Sackhead. Silently, he appears in the background watching her. She does not see him, but the audience is obviously aware of it. And so it definitely just intensifies the fear and just tension that you feel during this movie. James then returns to the house, but he dismisses her concerns at first, but it quickly becomes clear that they are not alone. They find car tires slashed, the car windshield shattered, And as they attempt to leave, they walk on inside. But yeah, so just to clarify, the other two strangers are Dollface and Pinup Girl. And so this is pretty much where the movie becomes a proper horror movie. So they realise there's pretty much no way to escape, so they try to fortify the house. But they continue to terrorise them with just relentless banging, breaking windows, eerie silence, and at no point do they speak to either of them, and they seem to just be toying with them, just enjoying how, like, terrified they are, which honestly just makes it, like, more scary in my opinion, just because there's really no reason at all. But yeah, then Mike appears. We'll talk about what happens to him in a second. But yeah, James retrieves his father's shotgun and attempts to protect her. James then accidentally shoots Mike. So he came to check on him after receiving his call earlier, and Mike unknowingly walked into the house during the panic, and James mistook him for one of the intruders, so he's just like, bye Mike. Have a good one. imagine Mike was the guy who got married earlier. That would be even worse. But yeah, so this mistake definitely weakens their, like, resolve as they realise how completely isolated they are, as they now have no escape. And as dawn approaches, they finally just close in on them, and they are overpowered, tied to chairs, facing each other in the room. And they are just physically drained, so they finally ask them why they're doing this. To which they respond, because you were home. Now, you know, personally, I wouldn't just go to someone's house and just check if they were there and kill them, you know. That's kind of boring, you know, at least have a better reason. But I feel like in this movie, it's just so, like just chilling, that they really had no reason. They just feel like killing people, which is just terrifying. This definitely just reinforces, like, the horrifyingness of just random, like, violence. Like, there is no motive, no reason. They're just killing because they can and because they happen to be there. But yeah, they then just are like, you know what? Time to get it over with. So they brutally stab James and Kristen, leaving them to die, and they then just calmly leave, passing two young boys riding their bikes on the road. And they just piss off. But, yeah. The film then ends with the two boys discovering the house, entering and finding the bloodshed. Kristen is still alive though, but badly injured, and she suddenly grasps and grabs one of the boys, still alive, but her fate kind of remains uncertain in this film, and then it cuts to black. And this is probably one of my favourite horror movie endings, just because it's so bleak, but at the same time, you still have a bit of hope that she's able to survive and get out of there. Though, at the same time, it kind of, like, makes me question, would the strangers then come after them if she had survived? Because we, of course, know in this new trilogy, sadly, Madeline Pearce's character survived, and we have to see it for 2 more movies. I'm kind of wondering, like, is it gonna just follow them, like, chasing her everywhere she goes? Because why would they even bother? Like, I'm pretty sure the boyfriend's dead, so why even bother going after her? But, you know, that's besides the point. I'm talking about this movie. So, The Strangers is a masterclass in suspense and just actual, like, horror. It strips it down to the bare essentials. The film's strength definitely lies in its just really just depressing atmosphere. It's able to build tension really slowly, right from the start. Like, Brian Bertino creates a sense of unease, and he uses the isolated setting and quiet tension building between the two leads just to create just a bleak mood. And the slow, methodical, like, pacing just might frustrate some people expecting, like, a fast-paced slasher movie. But it's deliberate slowness that makes each knock, each creak, and each masked appearance even more settling. Both lead actors, Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman, deliver strong performances. It definitely, like, shows that they are in a relationship and they do both love each other, but I don't think that Kristen was in, like, the right mood, or maybe it wasn't the right place or time for his proposal. And it definitely adds a deeper, like, level of sympathy towards them as they, like, try and fight for survival because they want to, like, stay together. I'm pretty sure if they both would have survived, they probably would have ended up either breaking up forever or probably getting together. And the masked strangers themselves are terrifying simply because of their anonymity and just lack of motives. The masks are simple and just devoid of any expression, besides maybe the baghead one, which kind of looks like he's smiling, but besides from that, there's nothing really there. They don't talk much either, which just definitely reminds you of how little they care about their victims. Like, they don't matter. To them, they could literally just be a bit of meat that they're just, like, cooking up for dinner and just eating later. Of course, they aren't cannibals, it's like a cannibal movie, but still. Like, even when they ask, why are you doing this, they just simply respond, because you were home. This simple line is probably one of the most haunting moments of the film. Just because it shows that they have no real motive. They're just doing this because they can, because they want to, because they were home. And the use of sound in the movie is definitely another standout feature. The film avoids jump scares or overly loud music cues, which is one of my, most, annoying, gripes with horror movies, is when, they'll have, a jump scare, which is already annoying as hell, and then they'll just have a noise like, duh, or, nah. I don't care. I don't want to hear a noise while I'm trying to just, watch a horror movie. I don't need, 17 jump scares in general. I also don't need 17 noises to go along with it. The film's, sparseness can also be, a strength and a weakness. It definitely excels in the tension building, and some people may find, the lack of backstory or character depth kind of frustrating, which I definitely found the first time I watched this. I want to know more, but at the same time, it's more scary not knowing anything. And I mean, there are also, no complex, character arcs or subplots. These are just people who you meet and then they die. That's it. There's no real meaning to it at all. You just watch these people, slowly, drift apart. Then they're brought back together in the final moments, and then they're killed. Supposedly. I'm pretty sure the boyfriend's dead. After that many stabs, unless he's bloody Chad from the new Scream movie, you ain't gonna survive. 'Cause that makes sense. I always bitch about that Chad kill. It makes no sense after being stabbed by 2 ghost faces 17 bloody times in the stomach, that man's gonna survive. But I digress. I'm talking about this movie. But yeah. I do like how it doesn't really have anything. It's a minimalist approach, and it works really well in the film's favour. It definitely just leaves some more, questions, which, at some points I do want some questions to be answered, but at the same time, the thing that makes the strangers scary is that they have no motive. They have no reason to do this, and that's what's scary. And that's why I'm scared for this new trilogy, because it's said that they're going to be doing, the origins of the strangers, who the hell Tamara is. I don't care. I don't care if it's, a great-grandmother who she had a connection with, she just wants to, know if they're there or something, but, I don't really care at all. I just want to know. I just want to know, why they're even bothering, because the thing that makes The Strangers scary is that you know nothing. But yeah, ultimately, The Strangers is a highly effective horror film that delivers a raw, stripped-down experience. It focuses on the tension and atmosphere more than just kills. And it makes it stand out in the home invasion subgenre, which, while it may not be for everyone, especially with, the dreadful pacing, which is something which I hate about the new one as well. The new one's trying to be more fast-paced and everything, which just doesn't work with The Strangers. It's really not for those looking for, action or explanation. It's quiet, relentless terror, and it's just unforgettable. I give this film an 8 out of 10. It's a film that taps into just, your primal fear that the worst can happen for no reason at all, and there's no way to stop it.